Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be working on a camo power wash. Power wash is done all with spray paint, so let's get into it. I started with this tall Krylon can. It's like an army green color, and I base painted my tumbler, and then we need a dark brown, a dark green, a medium like eggnog, nutmeggy color, gold, power wash soap, and some water. Once that base is completely dry, go in with a light coat of power wash soap over the entire thing. Try not to shake up the power wash soap because it will get too sudsy that way. And then just take your different colors of spray paint and just spray it randomly, different splotches all over the top of the tumbler and the soap. I started with the dark brown, and then I went in with some of the dark green, and here I'm going in with some of that nutmeg color, whatever it was called. And then I went in with a little bit of the gold. Just, it's very random and sporadic. Once that is complete, just rinse it with a little bit of water, and then everybody does their power wash different. This is just how I do mine. I go in immediately with another coat of the power wash soap, a little bit heavier this time, and repeat the process, going in with the different colors, and really don't even think too much about it. Just grab a color, spray a spot, go on to the next color. It's all just random, and that's kind of what builds this camo look with the power wash. I wanted to add a little bit more gold, but I didn't want too much, so I just kind of barely pressed on the button for the spray paint just to get more of like a splatter look in some areas with that gold, because I just wanted a hint of the gold and I didn't want to overdo it. So here it is, just kind of like splattering on. If you're happy with the way this looks, you can rinse it now and just leave it. Or if you want a little bit more of some extra colors, go in with your power wash one more time like I did and just repeat the entire process. Each time I got a little heavier with my power wash just to cover up a lot of what I already had. So I was just adding a little bit more color, if that makes sense. I almost cut this out, but it was too cute. My dog running through the yard. The day that I worked on this, it was beautiful, so I thought I'd leave it in. Once that was completely dry, we got to work on adding the vinyl. Now you can add a layer of epoxy first, but I chose not to. So I took this vinyl from Diamonds and Dust. It's a camo and leopard print because, you know, everybody needs camo and leopard print together. It's beautiful vinyl. So I just trimmed it to take off all of the edge pieces, and then I trimmed down to the width that I wanted it, and then trimmed it to about the length that I wanted it. I was trying to decide if I wanted to cut off more camo print or more leopard print. And then I needed to decide where on the tumbler I wanted to add the vinyl. So I picked the side that I liked the most, which was partially part of this that had the gold speckles on it. And then I took a piece of painter's tape. This was to help me line up the vinyl straight. So I just added it to the cup I just made sure that it was straight enough. I eyeballed it. I'm not a measurer, as I've told you guys, so I just lined it up, made sure it was straight, and then it gave me an edge to line up my vinyl to. Once I figured out which direction I wanted it to go in, I just removed a little of the backing and cut that off so I can apply the vinyl using the hinge method. So once I got that removed, I just lined up the edge of the vinyl to the edge of the blue painter's tape and then flipped it around, and as I pushed on the vinyl, the backing came off, just like any other application for using the hinge method. Once that was applied, I knew that I wanted a diagonal area on the bottom of the vinyl to be glitter. So I just took my painter's tape and started on the bottom left corner and moved it up diagonally to give me the area that I wanted. This one was too big, so I took it off and moved it down a little bit. And this was just to give me a guide where I wanted to cut off the vinyl. So I just used the edge of the painter's tape and I ran my X-Acto knife along the edge of that to trim off the vinyl. Once that was trimmed off and the vinyl was removed, I taped off the section so that I can glitter it. In hindsight, I should have just left the tape that I used to trim it, but I didn't think about that and I pulled it off. So I just trimmed it or taped it up on both sides and then added a layer of tape on top of the vinyl so that I can paint it and add the glitter. Once I had that all taped up, I just used a little spot of Crystal Lac glitter glue and some chalk paint. I think this was ivory, and I just mixed it together on a piece of paper and I applied that right to the tumbler for my glitter. The glitter that I use is the same glitter that I used on the baseball mom tumbler for last week's video. It's just that beautiful creamy ivory color, and it was exactly what I wanted for the look on this tumbler as well. So I used that. I will put on the screen the mixture of the glitter. I take that back, I won't, because I can't figure it out. So sorry about that. You'll just have to go back and watch my video from last week. Once I had that all glittered and the tape healed, I sprayed it with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum's clear glossy spray paint after the glitter glue dried, of course. I waited about 2 hours. And then I let that dry overnight and gave it 2 coats of epoxy. Once that was all done, we are going to add the decals. I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go with this tumbler, but I figured I might as well do an American flag and put a fun saying on it. So I chose Army Mom, Army Strong, and I offset that into the flag, and then that way the words could be a different color. So I applied the flag first, and when I applied it, I tried to center it evenly on the CAMO power wash side. So I lined it up, peeled a little off the backing, and applied it hinge method. And then what I forgot was, when I was applying it, even though it centered, the words stuck out a little bit more on one side, so it does end up being a little off center, but I just worked with it, and I'll show you how I kind of made it not look so off center. So you can see right here, it's a little closer on the left side than it is on the right side. So it's okay, I made it work. I am now going to add the striping to the edges of the vinyl. I just cut out of the same gold vinyl. I added the striping on this side closer to the right side of the vinyl, and then I flipped it around and added this more on the left side of the line. I hope I'm explaining this right. So I was trying to give it some better spacing, and then it still was a little off on the right. So what I eventually ended up doing was cutting a thinner piece of vinyl and adding that just so there was a double stripe, and it just gave it some extra elements of the design. Here I am adding the vinyl stripe between the glitter and the vinyl. So here I am, I cut just a much thinner stripe and added that just to the left of it, and then it added an extra element of design to the tumbler and made it more centered so it wasn't bothering me. Just work with what you got, right? I mean, I'm just not one to measure, so things like this happen to me, and it's okay. I just work with it and go with the flow. I trimmed off the bottom and trimmed off the top, and then this got 2 more coats of epoxy with a sanding in between, and she was all finished. I love this one. I kind of want to keep it for myself, although our son is no longer in the Army, but it's still just a beautiful tumbler. I want to thank you so much again for being here. I hope that this tutorial inspired you in some way, and if it does, I would love for you to tag me or send me the video or photos because I love seeing your work as well. A while ago, I started a craft group on Facebook, and I think I'm going to change it more into a tumbler tutorial and other craft group, just a craft community, because the group's been dead for a while. So I'll leave the links down in the description if you want to join, and I'd love to have you there and we can create a wonderful crafty community. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I will see you guys again next week. Have a wonderful day.